Hey guys, and welcome to my stimulus package update and stimulus check update. Wow, I haven't said those words in so long. I want you guys to know that I missed you more than you missed me, and I'm happy I'm back here for you with another video just to give you my perspective on everything that's been going on.
We have multiple different countries across the world that are going to be imposing financial and multiple different types of sanctions against Russia. So the question here is this going to be worth it for Russia? Are they just going to ignore this? Are they just going to continue on here for as long as they want? And is this going to be a full-blown invasion? To what end? And then what's the fallout going to be here? This is already affecting Americans with the rising price of gas, the falling stock market. Again, to what end? To both of those. How high are we going to see gasoline prices go? How low are we going to see the stock market go? And remember, the stock market is not just for the rich. I see a few comments saying, good, let's get the rich. Remember, this does not just affect the rich. There's over 50% of Americans that have money in the stock market, okay? We're talking about people's retirements here, people's pensions. People's pensions are invested in the stock market nowadays. People's pensions, people's 401ks, people's IRAs, those are all invested in the stock market, just so everybody's clear here, okay? Over 50% of people have money in the stock market. Pensions, 401ks, retirement funds, IRAs, retirement funds, and then people that just have savings in the stock market, because if you have money in a bank account, it pays you like 0.001%. So, you know, I mean, the stock market, the S&P last year paid, or it averaged 27 or 29%. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. It was 27 or 29% last year. So it's, you know, you have it in a bank, it's 0%. So the stock market's down about 10% here recently, but if you compare it to last year, it's up. It was 27 or 29%. So still, it's in a correction here. But again, the stock market's it's a long-term type of thing, right? But the question is how bad is this going to get? How bad is this going to get? As well as the gasoline prices. Again, that affects everybody. Everybody buys gas, but a little bit over 50% of people are in the stock market. Also, another thing you got to figure in here with the stock market is that jobs are affected by the stock market. When the stock market comes down and companies get hurt, this is sad to say here, but what is one of the first things that companies do when companies' stock prices get hurt? This is sad for me to say, but this is the reality, folks. You guys watch this channel for the truth. This is the truth here. When companies' stocks go down and they lose money, what do? Sometimes, not all the time, but what do they do sometimes when their company starts getting hurt? They start laying off people. They start letting people go. People start losing their jobs. So when we see large stock market corrections, large companies lay off thousands of people sometimes. So, you know, I'm not saying that is going to happen this time around, but I mean, when we've seen large corrections like the pandemic, 2008, 2009, when we had that one, I mean, when we see these large corrections and large recessions, that's what happens. And not only that, but we see corporations go out of business, particularly small businesses. Now, small businesses aren't on the stock market per se, but from the pandemic, like 39% of small businesses went out of business. Yeah, and that's a really sad number that's near and dear to me, because, you know, I've been a small business owner and an entrepreneur basically my whole adult life, and I know how hard it is to build a company from the ground up, to build a YouTube channel from the ground up. You start with one video with no subscribers and nobody watching you, and it's like your baby. It's everything to you, and you have something come along like an unexpected pandemic or an unexpected downturn like the mortgage-backed crisis. If you were a mortgage broker in real estate or anything like that in 2008, 2009 came, think about how many people lost their homes in that one. And you got to think that 401ks and retirement funds, that's people's retirement money. And then now you got to think that a lot of this is happening because of Russia. Who's seen that coming a couple months ago, right? Maybe Mitt Romney, right? But you can always kind of think, oh, well, there's China and there's Russia, right? But you can't not invest your money, because if you just keep it in the savings in the bank, it's gonna earn 0.01. Again, it earned 27% just last year in the S&P 500. So again, if you have a negative 10% here in a month, when it comes back, you know what I'm saying? It's just a dip in the market. But regardless, is that people's jobs are at stake here. People's lives are at stake here. People's livelihoods are at stake here. People's retirements are at stake here. People's money is at stake here. People's money at the pump here. People's money at the gas prices are at stake here. And then just think about all the people that are just living paycheck to paycheck, behind on bills, and every time they go to fill up at the gas pump, it's costing them more money. Think about all the people that are dealing with rising inflation, and now everything is going to potentially even cost even more, because when gas goes up, everything goes up. Why? Because everything gets delivered by truck, everything gets delivered by ship, everything gets delivered by airplane. All that stuff costs fuel. That rises the price of everything. And now we have Russia rising the price of everything, because they're the number 2 producer of oil and natural gas in the world. Now the price of oil is almost at $100 a barrel because of what's going on in Russia. Yeah. And like we need more inflation. Like we need more rise in gas prices. And this is where, we're seeing people like Bernie Sanders trying to say, hey, we need help from Congress. We need to see all these different things happen for everybody. That's why we need another round of stimulus checks to go out. That's why we need them to use that $800 billion of stimulus money that's already been approved, that they wouldn't even need to, it wouldn't even rise inflation, because it's already been allocated. It's already been money that's spent. It's already been printed. It's already been, from stimulus package 1, 2, and 3, it's already been added to the debt percent. That's money that they can, they could call it an anti-inflation check. They could call it whatever they want. When you got to think about when they send money out to the 40 some million people that are getting SNAP benefits every year, they don't say that or every month. Every month, that doesn't add to inflation. They're not concerned about that adding to inflation. When they're canceling the student loan debt forgiveness, $15 billion, they just, or that's what they've canceled in the year. They're not worried about that adding to inflation. When they sent out the year's worth of child tax credit payments, have actually been going out for about 23 years now, in different amounts. Of course, they've been going up through the years. In fact, former President Donald Trump and the Republicans raised it with the 2017 Trump tax cuts from $1,000 to $2,000. The Republicans weren't worried about inflation when they upped it. Again, you got to help the people in need, right? There's so many people in need right now, right? So honestly, this inflation is really just a matter of the economy expanding right now, because we're trying to come out of the deflationary period that we had when the economy was shut down and everything kind of deflated. Now we're coming out and everything's expanding. People are going back to work, and the Biden administration says 6.6 million people went back to work, or they say jobs gained, but really a lot of people just went back to work. So everything's kind of expanding right now. And, they say that 5.9% economy growth, right? Well, that's kind of where you're getting the 7% inflation, because everything is kind of going up, right? So it's kind of going hand in hand. And that will probably be temporary, right? They're trying to say by the end of this year, it'll come back somewhat to normal, which is probably about right. Who knows if it'll get back down to near 2.5–3%. We'll see, right? But typically inflation doesn't last for years. We'll see. But the problem is how do we help out people in need right now? We got $800 billion of stimulus money sitting there. The child tax credits have expired. We got seniors that got cost of living adjustments, but yet got their SNAP benefits reduced. And we need a bill in Congress to change that. We can't have that continue. How that's a thing, how that's been going on for this many years is just ludicrous. They need to change that. We need to have a movement in Congress to get that changed. We also need to get a movement in Congress to get the child tax credits renewed. We're actually seeing that right now, renewed. Of course, Bernie Sanders is always there, but we're actually seeing a new movement by Mitt Romney from the Republicans, and it actually might take, because honestly, Joe Manchin is just kind of digging his heels in right now. Honestly, we're getting a little bit sidetracked right now because of Russia. Honestly, I mean, World War III could be right around the corner, and I'm not saying it's going to be, but like we kind of gotta watch that very closely, because it's a really kind of tense situation there. Russia is ranked by most ranking system as the world's second best or largest, and I'll go with best military, right, behind us, and China's a close third, right? We're part of NATO, so we have several different countries in there, and then the G7, so we have a large alliance here. But Russia's like, they're a large force. You know what I'm saying? We don't even want to do that, right? We don't want to do this, right? We just want to kind of go about, we don't want to do the whole WW2 thing again, right? Who wants to do that again? We don't want to do that again. We just want to go on living a normal life and just deal with what we're dealing with here in the United States. Who wants to actually do that? We don't want to do that. You think problems are bad now? Imagine if we had to deal with that. No. So, we got to deal with that. We also got to deal with what's going on here at home as well. Yeah. So that's why it's... Yeah, you let me know your thoughts here. It's kind of a dual system with what's going on here with the news right now. Yeah, but we also got Mitt Romney here who's saying maybe the Republicans may have to step up and go to bat for the children to get the child tax credits done. Because January payment went by and February payment went by, and no deal yet so far. But the Republicans are going to want to make some concessions. They're going to want a work requirement, probably, because the Democrats don't want a work requirement and the Republicans are going to want a work requirement. The question is are the Democrats going to be willing to do that? If the Democrats don't do that, though, they might not get a deal. So that's where it's going to kind of be a tough pill for the Democrats to swallow. And that's where the art of the negotiation is going to have to happen. And I can't really, as a realist, I'm not sure, because it's like, on one hand, if you go without the work requirement, I get the art. Again, you could put me on a debate team and I could argue either point. Okay, The problem is you can't put everybody in a box and say, oh, everybody should go to work. You have disabled people, can't work. You have grandmas and grandpas who are raising the children, and it already worked for 30 years. They already put their time in, and now they're raising the children for whatever reason. They're raising their children's children, and they already put their time, they already worked. But Social Security, for some God knows reason, does not count as earned income, even though they earned it for 30 years and now they're retired. Social Security doesn't count as earned income. So they wouldn't get the child tax credits even though they worked their whole lives. Social Security doesn't count as earned income. So they wouldn't get the child tax credits if they're raising the children. There's millions of grandmas and grandpas that raise the children and claim them. Right now they get the child tax credits, or they were when they were going on for last year. So that would shut out them as well. It would shut out disabled people. There's so many different people that if you impose a work requirement that don't fit into a perfect little box, that, if you go with the argument of, oh, everybody should just go to work. But I get the argument, go to work, get the child tax credit. Again, you could give me that argument and I could argue either side. You could put me on a debate team and I could be the best argumenter, for lack of a better word there, and argue either side. The problem is you can't put everybody in a perfect box. You don't know everybody's situation. I mean, there's people that are homeless with kids. There's people that are disabled with kids. There's people that their grandma and grandpa are raising the kids. I mean, do you really want to take those checks away from millions and millions of people? And honestly, after doing this show here with you guys for years now, I kind of have seen that. I've kind of grown a lot more compassionate after seeing so many comments, thousands and thousands of comments. I've kind of grown more compassionate. A couple years ago, I might have said, you know what? You should have to work to get the money. Now I kind of grown more compassionate. I would feel bad for grandmas and grandpas not getting a check. They put their time in. They did their work. And that's why I kind of feel like you can't put everybody in a perfect box and say, go to work and then get the money. I mean, you let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I've kind of learned that the age-old saying that my mom taught me many, many years ago is that you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, and then, you can have something to say about them. So you let me know your thoughts here, but I'm kind of after reading so many of your guys' comments and being a voice for you guys here, and that's why I've kind of come around here, after doing this show with you guys here every day, here today on my birthday, still doing a show with you guys. By the way, I'm 41 years old today. A lot of people think I look younger than I am, but yeah, 41 here today. I was born in 1981, February 23rd, 1981. But yeah, I just kind of have come to the realization that anybody that can get help during this time that needs it, whether it's seniors on fixed income or Social Security, or it's children through the child tax credits, or it's student loan forgiveness, or it's people on low income, or it's stimulus checks, or it's hazard pay. Whatever it is, if it's state stimulus checks, rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility, all these different programs, because if you've been watching my show, they're all happening. They're all happening. And we cover them all here on our channel. So that's the cool thing about this channel, is we kind of get to cover them all here, and every day or two there's a different program going on here. So there's always a different group of people getting something, which is pretty cool. But I'm kind of grown to the fact that I'd rather see somebody getting some help than nobody getting help. And the more people that get help, I think the better. You let me know your thoughts here in the comments. We've seen 3 stimulus checks. I'd like to see more. Those are kind of the checks that go out to almost everybody. And the child tax credits, 60 million people. Hopefully we see a Social Security raise here this year. That's about another 60 million people. SNAP benefits are about 40 million people. Those go out every month, and we're seeing SNAP benefit increases here. I've been doing some videos on that. Those are going out to, there's about 40 million people on SNAP. A lot of states are doing those benefits. Pandemic EBT. We have the rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, which a lot of those are getting a second round of funding right now. I just did a big video on that as well. Definitely should watch that here. So we got a lot going on here.
Alright guys, this is all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really missed you. Hopefully I'll see you here again very, very soon. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about here in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you all. Please hit the like button on the video, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe if you haven't already. And click that notifications bell to be notified whenever I publish new videos for you. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.